there, and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be having a look at Jackie Chan's directorial debut in Fearless Hyena, which I have here, made back in 1979. This was, like I say, Jackie Chan's first time in like the director's chair, where it was pretty much him in control. So in many ways, sort of the pressure was on. Many will argue that, well, this film is maybe not as polished as, say, films like Snake and the Eagle's Shadow or Drunken Master. It's still very much superior to sort of some of the motion pictures that were coming out that Jackie Chan was producing or making with the Lo Wei company. I say, so, you know, this was Jackie Chan's chance here. This was Jackie Chan not, you know, he didn't have Yuen Woo-ping here. This was all him, you know, directing the camera, you know, fight scenes, everything. Jackie Chan really did have to try and prove himself here to prove, you know, that he could do the stuff, basically. I mean, he already had successes, as I mentioned earlier, with the Yuen Woo-ping seasonal films pictures. But he really had to make sure that this film was... you know, it had to mix everything in there. You had to have the fight choreography, you had to have something different that set it apart, you had to have some acting in there, you had to have the comedy, you had to give, because Jackie Chan was by now getting a reputation. He was slowly getting to where he wanted to be, having a couple of you know, box office hits, rather than sort of the moderate success that the Lo Wei films were actually making. So, you know, after this, you know, this was Jackie Chan basically got out of his obligation with Lo Wei. I mean, obviously, Jimmy Wang Yu had a little something to do with it. This film did prove that Jackie Chan was a star and could call the shots and didn't have to depend sort of on other people in sense of when it comes to movie making. Lo Wei even did try to do a cash grab on Fearless Hyena, with releasing Fearless Hyena 2, which is basically... it's not really a Jackie Chan film as such, because it's basically just using stock footage and deleted scenes and things like that from using, like, you know, unseen footage from this movie. I mean, like I say, this was Jackie's chance to show he could write a script, to show the audience the action he wanted to do, and more importantly, learning about camera placement, filmmaking, which I'm sure he'd picked up, you know, for many years prior, but this was his chance to sort of combine his skills, show what he has learned, what he can do, and the kind of, like I say, movie that he can make and the kind of finished product he can make, and the results are really good. I mean, Fearless Hyena is a brilliant... It's not... While it's not... I think a lot of people sometimes overlook Fearless Hyena, like, because, like I say, sometimes it can be sort of, you just go to the Snake and the Eagle Shadow, to the Drunken Master. Fearless Hyena does have its fans, and rightly so, because it is a very good Jackie Chan vehicle, and a very good early Jackie Chan vehicle. You know, say camera placement, how to shoot a scene, directing other people. This was Jackie's chance to say, look, I don't need to depend on Yuen Woo-ping. I do not need to depend on Lo Wei. I can do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. But as I say, no doubt in Jackie's head, the pressure was on. I mean, he had to, it wasn't just him here. He had to, like I say, direct other people and everything. Jackie knew the audience, like, what they wanted to see, more of that Drunken Master sort of established, and get that, you know, that formula that was made during that movie. So the film does play it somewhat safe in that regard. It doesn't stray far from that tree. It still keeps that, not that this is film... It's sort of like a Drunken Master clone, but it's that same type of character that we come to sort of get familiar with Jackie Chan in Drunken Master. This was a chance, to say, to Jackie to prove that he can do it on his own. So the film features James Tien, Shi-kwan and Shek in like a small cameo role. If you look at the opening credits, James Tien, which I probably may have noticed when I saw it on VHS back in the day, but if you look at James Tien's name in the opening credits, James Tien is spelt with a W instead of an M, like Jawes, so it looks like Jaws Tien. So Shi-kwan, as always, is our villain here, who you may remember from Dragon Fist, and also later on in Once Upon a Time in China with Jet Li by Soy Hark. He's trying to, usual thing, he's trying to wipe out members of a clan, as always. You've always got the villain that's trying to wipe out members of the clan. So, like I say, Jackie Chan does play it safe with a couple of, like I say, kung fu movie traits, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just sometimes it's the originality in the way you go about it. I think that is what matters here, and Jackie Chan does that superbly well, and he's looking for Cheng Ping Fei, I believe his name is, played by James Tien, and he is Jackie's grandfather in this, and obviously made to look older. Jackie plays that sort of rebellious kind of guy that we got used to from Drunken Master, always getting into trouble, knows some kung fu but doesn't really take it that seriously. He's not really sort of too worried about it. Like I say, his grandfather's sort of an expert, and he's, like I say, he'll learn, but he'll go at his own pace, that kind of thing. So it's that kind of character that we've like sort of familiar with before. Doesn't getting into trouble, doesn't study, so he goes gambling and gets a win. And as always, the people that do these kind of gambling on the streets, these hustles on the street, they don't like it when anybody wins, so naturally they go after Jackie to sort of teach him a lesson, sort of showing them up and embarrassing them. So they go, there's Stony Egg, Great Bear and Ironhead, just to give you what the three guys' names are. Much more slapstick in this early sequence, more akin to something like a Three Stooges type of thing would do. Not really sort of what you would sort of, the fast, great tight choreography that Jackie Chan, but I think that's the idea. The film does sort of build in regards to the choreography, much like sort of Half a Loaf of Kung Fu does. Plays it very slapsticky to start, just showing where Jackie's passions lie, just in that comedy kind of action sequences. I love it when he flips the big guy onto the floor as well, and the whole ground shakes. When he does it twice actually, like he flips him over his back, and the whole ground just completely, the camera shakes, and it's just, there's a couple of little really funny moments here. Or like when the big one lands on one of the other guys and find that he's actually sort of embedded in the ground, because they're like, "Where's he gone?" And they pull the big guy off, and he's sort of implanted in the grass, which is quite amusing. James Tien wants to know where he got more and have a good training sequence between the two with the bow staff. Where he got more money, I should say, sorry, because basically he's got this windfall. James Chan's like, where you got it? And then we have, like I say, a great training sequence with the bow staff. And it's nice seeing, let's say, James Tien here always play really reliable as always, in a couple of the other, the few of the other low-way company productions with Jackie, such as Dragon Fist, Snake and Crane. Most notably is, like I say, a lot of villains in the 80s Sammo Hung movies. So good sequence here between the two. Grandpa wants him to keep the style he's teaching him a secret. He wants, it's one of them, I will teach you it, but don't show anybody you know it kind of styles that is so synonymous with many kung fu masters and experts in these movies. Jackie Chan then tries to please his grandfather and goes like job hunting, and this is where Dean Shek gets his cameo appearance. He tries to get a job in sort of selling coffins. There's really, again, just it's great seeing Dean Shek and Jackie. They just have wonderful chemistry, all the way starting way back in, say, Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master. I love how he has like this. Dean Shek's character, he has like the hots for this coffin. He really does want this coffin. Like he keeps saying, he gets inside it and he's just like, look, it's so comfortable, and the music goes all like creepy. It's just a weird, bizarre but funny sequence of him just sort of, actually liking this coffin a bit too much, and it ends up with Jackie Chan sort of accidentally trapping him inside it. But yeah, it's a shame Dean Shek doesn't get more of a role in this movie, but I think it was sort of, just Jackie doing it for Jackie Chan, just to help, like, I'm in it as well, you may remember me from Drunken Master. So the three thugs from earlier take Jackie Chan to see their master, who wants Jackie Chan to help them teach Kung Fu to their students at their school, because it's sort of going nowhere. They've got no business or anything like that. So he can make money and sort of fight. Jackie Chan has to fight off the challenges from other schools. Even though what's funny with this is, if you look at it, this guy who's opening the school, the master, he doesn't know, he blatantly says, I do not know any Kung Fu. He says that outright, I do not know any Kung Fu. So why he's chosen to open a Kung Fu school, like invest in property of a Kung Fu school, is beyond me. But obviously, he thinks there's money to be had. But might be something to think about if you're opening a Kung Fu school and you don't actually know any Kung Fu whatsoever. So not sure why he's invested in that at all. So Jackie Chan changes the name to the Xing Yi School, which he shouldn't do, as that's sort of the name of what his grandfather, like the style of the grandfathers of the clan, the style was what he's teaching Jackie Chan. he wants him to keep the clan name and style a secret. What we have here, where this sets up with Jackie Chan helping this master sort of with his school and just getting paid for doing so as well. It sets up, Jackie Chan is able to show his range here and having fun with comedy, dressing up in different costumes, showing his range and what he can, make the audience laugh and giggle and just give, like I say, as well as the action. And this film does have drama later on, but just making the audience laugh above anything else. Getting dressed up as like a cross-eyed beggar and a woman. We even get the Pink Panther theme played at one point just for good measure. I love it when the master says a few times that he really does stress to all the challenges that come through. They try and make out Jackie Chan is sort of the lowest of the low, like he's the lowest ranked pupil in this school. Even he's probably like, aside from the other three, he's probably, he's like one of the only pupils. Yeah, he basically says like they come in and he's like the challenge. He's like, you can take it on the guy who shovels excrement for our school. They keep on making a point that they want them to think that Jackie Chan's only job is just shoveling excrement. Like lowest of the low, represent to make the opponent think it's good, going to be an easy fight. Some stage at one point he uses the benches to fight, something he expanded on later on in films such as Young Master, just like 1 year later when he's fighting Yun Bu in that. Of course, every opponent Jackie Chan beats just attracts more and more challenges. Guy as like a sex pest, and Jackie Chan dresses up as a woman. I must say, Jackie Chan in drag is absolutely hilarious, absolutely brilliant. Like I mentioned in my previous City Hunter review, when he's like gets dressed up as Chun-Li, when he's dressed up as like a woman, it's just funny. You can tell Jackie Chan is really just sort of having sort of a ball here, just having fun with it. And his grandpa, James Tien, of course, doesn't know that he is doing this, and he eventually finds out, and Jackie Chan's getting paid quite a bit of money for doing this, unaware that James Tien initially is unaware that Jackie Chan is so silly. He's thinking that like he changes the name of the school to his grandpa's sort of clan name and Styles name. So he's sort of basically advertising. So Shi-kwan eventually comes and tracks him down. So like I say, he manages to track down James Tien and ends up killing him right in front of Jackie Chan, who is restrained by this other beggar who comes into play, who was sort of his grandpa's friend of the same clan. I mean, when you look at this film, it's really Jackie's fault. When you look at that plot device, it was really Jackie's fault that his grandfather got sort of discovered, because when Shi-kwan asks him, Jackie Chan basically is just sitting there and he just points him in the right direction because he's oblivious, he's miles away. It was Jackie Chan that sort of advertised the school. So in many ways, they make a point that there would be a lot of guilt. It's not just sort of his grandfather's died. It's like he would feel really guilty. He would feel responsible because in a way he sort of led Shi-kwan right to him, or it definitely helped in Shi-kwan finding James Tien's character. In many ways, it's really nice emotional scene here from Jackie Chan, trying to show his full emotional range, much like he does in sort of the opening of Young Master. Like there is general tears here, and there is a general sense of Jackie Chan is trying to get across that strong sense of emotion and drama and upset and anguish that this character is feeling. I love how the training just happens as well. Like this beggar sort of restraining Jackie Chan. Look, if you get involved, he has to watch his grandfather die, and he's like, if you get involved, you're going to die as well. You're not his match. He'll end up killing you as well. Of course, Jackie Chan's been brought up in the same style. But I love how they don't have this, will you train me? I need to get vengeance. The guy just starts training Jackie straight away. There's no will he, won't he? Does he have to beg for him to be his Sifu? He just starts training Jackie like straight away, which is a great fun way to just go straight into the training scenes. Not like I say, it just begins. So we have some great training here. Like I mentioned in my Knockabout review, I absolutely love some training sequences. In these kung fu movies can just go on and on for all I care. They could, when they're that fun and they're done well, they don't need to ever stop in my eyes. We have Jackie Chan dragging along sandbags, fighting with chopsticks and sort of upside down sit-ups, which is something that was actually copied in Van Damme, No Retreat, No Surrender, where the main character Jason's sort of doing sit-ups against like this board, exactly the same way Jackie Chan is doing it here. I would also say, if you watch these scenes, Jackie Chan is absolutely ripped in this film. He is absolutely ripped. Not overly built, but his muscles and just especially like on his torso and everything, he is, he's at a real peak physicality here. Really is showing off his physique really well. So much training happens that even gets like a croaky voice at one thing. You think, okay, that's quite funny. The fact he's got a croaky voice, he's been training, but there is a reason for that does come into fruition very shortly. When he goes to attack his grandpa's killer, so he goes to attack Shi-kwan, but he can't actually say who he is. And Shi-kwan's like, who are you? Why are you doing this? And he just thinks he's like, a dumb kid, but obviously Jackie Chan can't express who he is and why he's attacking him, which is a very interesting little scene there. The beggar saves him as Jackie Chan is like a wild animal at this point. Have some great scene of Jackie and his master jumping on pots and pans and vases around the house, and you think they are sort of tied down or something. You think, okay, they're obviously not slipping because they're tied down or weighed down, and in the same shot these vases and pots will actually move as well. So it's like, God, they're actually not tied down, and they're on this like all this pottery and stuff, and they're just like standing on it on their feet, and it's moving, they're kicking it around. It's just incredible stuff, really really amazing stuff. You can tell they actually move. So he teaches him sort of emotional kung fu. This is really sort of where you sort of can see Jackie there in the different emotional range, just to give it, rather than just Jackie Chan having an M fight. Something Jackie Chan was always clear about was just making sure each fight stood out, that was different from the last, that each fight sort of had a novelty about it. So like the emotional kung fu using happiness, sorrow, anger and joy, which is sort of what sets the fight apart. You look at Drunken Master with the Drunken Gods, or Young Master when he drinks the water out of the opium pipe. It gives the fight that sense of novelty rather than, right, there is your good guy, there is your bad guy, off you go, fight. It just gives it that sense of just something different. So he sees the beggar being attacked by these guys with spears and takes them on, and some real inventive stuff here. I mean, this must have been so planned, like I was mentioning in my Snake and Crane review. So precise, spinning spears around the neck, dodging with like bare minimum distance from the face. Regardless of them being props or anything like that, if some sort of move or whatever, it's right close to your face. If something was out of place or somebody missed their timing or whatever, that you could potentially do damage to yourself, regardless of whether they're real weapons or not. The fact is, like Jackie, right next to Jackie's face, but again, just amazing, great stuff. Just so precise. He's just doing it. So, spinning around his neck, dodging with like bare minimum distance, so incredible. It follows, like I said earlier, it follows like simple kung fu movie traits, but it does it in a good way, it does it in a fantastic way, just to make it so it doesn't seem overly too familiar, even though it does follow certain boxes and certain steps into that stereotypical traditional kung fu movie. So Jackie manages to defeat Shi-kwan with emotional kung fu and get vengeance. I mean, it's a brilliant debut from Jackie Chan. As mentioned, maybe not as polished as, say, Drunken Master. The film is still a great Jackie Chan movie. And what makes it even more impressive is that, like I say, this was his directional debut. I mean, this was the first film he ever directed. He had had experience with other directors at this point and being fight choreographer and working with different people. But this was Jackie Chan's chance to really show and prove he could do his stuff, and something he would only improve and improve and improve upon as the films went on. I mean, you've taken into account this was, like I say, 79. And then within 4 years, making masterpieces such like Project A. I mean, it's just incredible. The amount of confidence that he shows there, just the way he develops as a filmmaker, as an artist, as the script writer, everything like that really does work. So again, if like with all of these movies, if you've never seen this one and you're only, like from Jackie Chan, you're only familiar with the obvious Drunken Masters, that kind of thing, please check out Fearless Hyena, because it's a great directional debut from Jackie Chan. And while not as sort of overly straight away necessarily as classic as sort of the Yuen Ping movies, it is still a classic, and definitely a Jackie Chan movie worth checking out, and just one to be seen. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you again soon.